So, best of the week.
Yeah, we haven't told each other. We haven't talked really much about it. So
we want to get the honest reaction. So why don't you go ahead? What's your best of the week?
You sure? You want me to go first?
Yeah.
Okay. My best of the week, shockingly enough, she's going to be surprised, was 24.
I'm still a little behind on my 24.
I won't go into many spoilers then. I'll try not to. It was really good. We got a lot of, things ended. We found out what was going on with Tony, because it was kind of like, why is he a good guy, then a bad guy, then a good guy, then a bad guy, then a bad guy, then an even badder guy. So they really explained that perfectly. I thought it was nice neat little bow wrapped up. The last few episodes, Kim Bauer was in danger, again. But this time she's like, you know what? Screw this. And she wasn't like, oh my God, there's a cougar.
She didn't run into Kevin Dillon in a bomb shelter.
But she really, you could tell, she took, the initiative, and she was, she even stabbed someone, so.
Wow.
Yeah, so Kim Bauer ain't messing around. The ending was good. A lot of people said it was a cliffhanger ending. There was a cliffhanger, sort of. They caught, the main bad guy. I'm not going to tell you who it is or who the main bad guy is. And the ending was the blonde, the redhead lady, forget her name, Agent.
Agent Redhead Lady.
Yes, who's the antithesis of Jack Bauer, putting her badge and gun down, and she's going inside to sort of torture the guy to get some information. So that was sort of like, we don't know what's going on with that. But the Jack thing, Jack's storyline was completely, where it's going.
Well, obviously, because it's Kiefer Sutherland on 24.
And we've already said he's coming back, so it's obvious that, Kim saves him in the end.
Sure.
So, and a nice little extra cameo by Ravi Kapoor, who he was in one of the earlier episodes, and he came back, so always good to see him on television. So I think that was the best of the week. It sets up nicely what's going to be happening next season, especially with the first daughter. That whole thing was wrapped up really nice, too.
And apparently next season they're moving to New York City.
Yes.
So that should be
the first family's not moving to New York City.
But Jack and everybody.
Yeah, CTU.
So... I just want you to keep in mind, I knew 24, if I had seen it, would probably have been my best in the week. But since I didn't see 24...
You were so far behind.
I had to choose something else as my best of the week, and you are going to hate it.
As long as you don't say Smallville.
My best of the week is Glee.
Oh, good Lord.
Now, I watched it. It came on Tuesday night after American Idol.
My face is melted.
I watched it, and you'd be surprised, but it is a fun, good little show. I'm not saying it's going to save the world. It's not going to blow your mind or anything, but the characters are well written. The comedy is great. We should say it's done by Ryan Murphy, who does Nip Tuck. Jane Lynch, who's in Best in Show and a lot of the other Christopher Guest movies, she's in it, and she plays one of the main villains, and she's in hilarious.
Like the 40-Year-Old Virgin and everything, too.
Yeah, she's hilarious. I think she was in Role Models as well. She's so funny, and she's in this. Matthew Morrison plays the lead. I think he's going to be Fox's next big star. It's just a really fun show. It's a musical, so there is some singing in it. It revolves around a teacher who takes over the show choir at the high school, and they're all sort of the outsiders, and they're just really at the bottom of the high school basement. And it was just a really fun hour. I smiled when it was over, and it was good TV.
Well, if something can give you enjoyment, I guess I can't really knock it.
Yeah, and I should say I was a big band nerd in high school, and I did drama, so maybe it sort of tapped into that for me. But I really enjoyed it, and so for that reason, it was my best of the week.
Well, we should also mention that with American Idol wrapping up and most of the series finales happened last week, there really wasn't that much to choose from to begin with.
We get sort of about a 2-week break between when our cable summer programming starts, Burn Notice and all those. Yeah. So we've got this little, time lapse here.
Well, I think the next week's episode we're going to really be desperate for best of the week and worst of the week. Because I think there's only 2 or 3 things going on. There's Law and Order.
Right,
and
everything
Law and
else
SVU. Yeah, so.
Speaking of finales.
Yes.
Since everything has happened, I think maybe we need to talk about what the best and worst finales. I think we both agree on what the worst
Should
finale
we start with the worst just to get out of the way?
The worst finale, Smallville. Oh, it was It was physically painful to watch. It was just like...
And I watched it live, so I couldn't fast forward to it. I should have...
Yeah, me too. It was just like, it was so awful. I mean, first of all, 8 years in, put on some tights and fly already. He should really be Superman by now, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like, and they were hyping up the big fight between him and Doomsday.
Which lasted about less than 30 seconds. Like, maybe 20 seconds, and that's being generous.
And there was this huge spoiler all along that a big main character that you've known from the beginning was gonna get killed, and who did it turn out to be?
Davis and Jimmy Olsen.
Okay, first of all, Davis, we haven't known him since the beginning, and really we don't care if he gets killed.
Yeah.
Jimmy Olsen... Here's
Jimmy Olsen.
Here's how they got around killing off Jimmy Olsen. It turns out that the Jimmy Olsen that we all know from the Superman universe and the comics and everything is the Smallville Jimmy's younger brother. And that the Jimmy Olsen we've known for the last few seasons on Smallville is really Henry James Olsen. And so
who just happened to go by Jimmy.
Yeah, and so at the funeral, Chloe gives his younger brother his camera and says, maybe you'll follow in his footsteps. So that's how they get around it.
Maybe I'm going to start bitch slapping some producers of stupid shows.
Also, Lois was fighting with Tess, and she picked up the time travel ring, and she disappeared into time someplace. So,
which is stupid because they said in order for it to work, you have to think of something in time that you want to go to.
Right.
So it makes no sense. The thing I didn't like too is Chloe walks up to the little brother and is like, "Oh, you must be Jimmy's little brother." I'm thinking, well, if Jimmy had a little brother, don't you think he would have been at the wedding?
Yeah.
Really? Like, you know?
If they were
like,
so
"Oh, you
close.
must be." And like, really, would it have been that hard to find a redheaded kid? Like, really? Like, we know Jimmy Olsen, and Jimmy Olsen in the comics is red hair. You can't, would it be that hard to find a redheaded kid instead of a long-haired blonde kid?
The point is that the Smallville finale was just awful, and I don't know why the CW is bringing it back for another year. I mean, they just need to just take it back and put it out of its misery.
And we're getting Zod as the which is just ripping off the original movies, which
it's just all it's all awful. It's all bad. Best finales.
Well, okay, so we talked about how I think one thing I want to bring that's kind of funny is, especially this last month, our best of the weeks and our best finales have all been sort of Fox shows. Where, I liked Fringe. We talked about how I love the Fringe finale. Dollhouse was our favorite, the last week finale. 24 this week, which I'm sure you'll like.
Even Glee is on Fox.
Yeah, so as much as we hate Fox and how much we kick Fox while it's down, we can't...
They've been putting the best stuff on TV.
We can't, we can't deny that fact. Other things that were good...
we sort of split on Bones. I liked it. Tim didn't really. So, but it was interesting. It was different. Yeah, it was different because I fast forwarded through like 50 minutes of it, and my DVR cut off the end, which is the best. So. I watched I took one for the team and sat through the Ugly Betty finale last night. You did take one for the team. Yeah. No. I can see why ABC's moving it to Fridays. They're setting it up. Yeah. It's like lining up the pins for the strike. Pretty much. The CSI finale was really good. Okay. Lawrence Fishburne, really, really good at that. I still have a problem with Lauren Lee Smith. I don't like her. I think maybe it stems from, I knew that part was supposed to go to, what's her name from Battlestar Galactica? Katie Sackhoff? Yeah. Katie Sackhoff was supposed to get that part. And apparently Jerry Bruckheimer didn't like her in the role. Jerry Bruckheimer, that seems, Yeah, so maybe that's why, because I think she would have been great on that role, and I just don't like the character. So there's other ones we'll talk about in the blog, so check out the blog, we'll list maybe we'll even rank them from best to worst.